So for those people out there who, they're trying to put together their team and whatnot, can you just give like, if some doctor came up to you and said, okay, I'm starting my practice and I'm trying to put my team together and I'm trying to get things right for the front. Like, what's pieces of advice? Like, hey, like for example, my big piece of advice, someone asked about if someone calls in sick. We had a really big post in my group and they said, well, what should we do? And I said, well, as the practice owner, you gotta like roll up your sleeves and if someone doesn't show up, that means you're cleaning up the office.
Of course.
That means you might be doing some cleanings. You might have to, that's as a practice. So what's like a piece of advice for someone who's starting a practice and they don't have the benefit of having you as someone to help the business? What to give a couple of pieces of advice there?
So like you need compatibility. You need to be able to be more open-minded and be a great multitasker. So you have to have different responsibilities that you should already kind of know what's going on. And especially working in a dental office, you kind of have to know, like if somebody calls in sick or is not available at the time, what the front office does, what the back office does, how do you go about getting supplies, instruments, medications, things like that. And you kind of basically have to know the terminology.
Yeah.
So that plays in a big way. If you know the steps, if you kind of like have an idea. And my thing is that obviously I started kind of fresh.
Yeah.
So it took me a little while, but the good thing is that you kind of have to be a go-getter in that sense. You kind of want to be able to enjoy what you do, and if you don't, then you're just pretty much
you get jumped into dentistry, I mean, without hardly any experience. Now of course you had experience on the medical side, but dentistry is like a whole different language. For those who are watching right now who are either onboarding people who have no experience, or actually, for the people who have no experience, like let's say it's a spouse or a family member that's trying to help out in the practice, what's your advice to them? Because again, a lot of times as dentists, we say, okay, we're going to train you up. But let's be honest, guys. I mean, most dentists, most dental practice owners, we're busy trying to see patients. Man, we don't really have time to train you up. Yeah. What is your advice to those who are jumping in and with no experience and trying to do a good job?
So I feel like always have a positive attitude.
Yeah.
Be in that go-getter mode. Have open mind. Ask questions. Be able to give and receive good criticism and feedback. That really helps, because anytime you're going to something that you're not really familiarized with, I feel you kind of have to be on your feet a little bit and kind of absorb everything in.
What resources did you use? Like, did you just go online and started looking up dental terms?
Well, luckily for me, I had a good medical background,
so
I had the terminology. But then, as far as like
the business, like insurance and verification,
so insurance is a whole different ball game.
It's
a whole different ball game, and that has its own nuances. So you gotta be on top of are we compliant? Are we having the correct billing system? Verification system, things like that. So I still, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing about it. Even though I've been there for a couple of years now, it still takes me a little.
I mean, so I think that's something that people have to realize, that this is just like anything in life.
Yeah.
You're still learning, man.
Yeah.
You're still learning all those things. Would you say that the best way to learn is just to go in there and do it?
Of course.
Because you can watch all the videos you want, and there's resources on, you go on YouTube and there's all the videos, you can get all the training, but unless you just go in there and like maybe get your first denial or all that stuff.
Of course.
Then, because when you face it, you just got to figure a way to manage it, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's where I think you excel and you learn. Because once you hit a roadblock and an obstacle, you don't just stop there. You have to kind of work your way around it and overcome those things. So I feel like you just have to be consistent in your work and your work ethic.